Welcome to Payments Playbook, the show where we explore the strategies and systems that drive smarter payments, stronger cash flow, and more profitable business. Brought to you by Paylink, the business-to-business payment experts. Now let's dive into today's episode. We have a very exciting guest for you today. Welcome, Patrick. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
You bet. To start, Patrick, why don't you give a little background on Reroute Americas and your role?
Certainly. So Reroute Americas is a wholesaler and distributor of sustainable packaging and products for restaurants, hotels, resorts, sports stadiums, bars, schools, hospitals. So we do all of our products have one component of sustainability, which is they're either compostable, they're biodegradable, or they're recyclable. So think of this when you go to a restaurant or a sports stadium, everything that your food comes in. We just don't do the food and so the produce and protein, but everything else that goes along with it, even where you're disposing of your trash bags, trash liners, your food prep gloves, we do everything that you would see in a kitchen, so to speak. My role is I'm the CEO of the company. I'm also the co-founder along with my wife, Danielle. The other component that's really fascinating for us is we have an artificial intelligence driven inventory management system. And what this inventory management system does is tracks the seasonality, the occupancy rates, the number of tables, the weather, geographic patterns to forecast what a hotel property, for instance, is going to need to order for the week. It generates that order, it sends to purchasing. They either approve it, they decline it, or they add or edit to it. It sends back to us. We then fulfill the order through our distribution of our own vehicles, our own trucks. Take the case of sports stadiums. One of the things it does, it looks at the number of tickets sold for an event. It then tracks Ticketmaster and all the other third-party resellers to get to a final number where it's going to come from. It also tracks the incoming concert or incoming team, what their previous attendances were to forecast what the order should be for this event. They approve it, edit it, comes back to us. We do delivery right into there. The other tool that we have, which is really making a difference in sustainability, it's an AI model that will give you real-time data on your use of compostable products and your elimination percentage of single-use plastics. So for example, right behind me in Orlando at the Kia Center, we are the official sustainable partner of the Orlando Magic. When they put an order in, it spits out real time saying that in today's order, you've reduced single-use plastic by 27%. They're able to then take that information. They can announce it to the crowd during a timeout. They could put in their literature, their brochures. And then we keep that tab for every order. So at the end of the year, they'll have a full analysis about how much single-use plastic reduced in their ordering. And this is very good for hotel chains to pass on to corporate that has mandates and stuff. So we found that's the real differentiator in what we do from a wholesale and distribution standpoint.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit yesterday, Patrick. So are you saying more of a shift at all with utilizing AI in the industry?
No, I mean, a lot of the bigger broadline distributors, they still kind of have an older model where it's more of suggestive ordering. So if you're going to order a plastic cup, it'll suggest that you order the flat lid that goes with it, right? Actually taking the real-time data. And the other thing that we're building on with this model is, so all of our packaging will have a barcode. So when we do delivery, we scan every item that we deliver. It then populates their inventory database. And then when they go to pull it off their shelf, they scan that and it automatically takes it off the inventory load. Once we set the par levels, which are the replacement levels, as soon as it hits that, it'll trigger the order to go right through it. There are massive hotel chains that do not have this technology that they think it's mind-blowing to them. One property that we're beta testing with right now, it's going to save them $200,000 a year. The idea was really because we were doing this manually for a lot of clients. And I said, there's got to be a better way. So kind of sat down with engineer, we wrote the program and we put it in place. It was really because I've seen so many clients that either over order or under order. And as you and I spoke yesterday, if you have products sitting on your shelf for too long, you're losing money. So the idea of the AI predictive is to get to 1% to 2%. So you're not over ordering, having stuff sitting on your shelves, and you're not taking up space, but you're not under ordering. So you don't have to go back out last minute to put another order in. So that's where the philosophy came behind it.
Yeah. And obsolescence, you're basically eliminating it.
Yeah, that's the idea. The byproduct of it is it helps us from our procurement standpoint. I was on the phone with one of our manufacturers and I was telling them about this program. I said, it's going to be able to, because what it's going to do for us is we set our levels in the warehouse based on what we're seeing from order wise. And once we get to a certain threshold, it automatically triggers an order to our manufacturer.
Yep, absolutely. And let's talk a little bit, since we do payments, you mentioned you do use NetSuite. What's your process look like on the receivables part and the payables part for that matter?
So on the payables part, NetSuite is great that we generate the purchase order. Purchase order goes directly to the client. And then through NetSuite, we have an app called NetSuite Pay where we can, if the client wants ACH or credit card or wires, it goes right through that system, depending on what the terms are too. Terms are usually net 30 days from when we receive the product, but for a new manufacturer, sometimes it's 50% up front, 50% after 30 days. So however that is designed, it's all built in the system. And then we release the payment per the terms. In terms of our sales side, so we generate the invoices, they go right through NetSuite, they're emailed to the party of record that is in charge of the invoices on the client side. They get a payment link. They can easily store their credit card information and set it up that after every delivery, once it's picked and shipped, it automatically charges them. But as I explained to you yesterday, with this big of industry that we're dealing with, still we're seeing about 70% of all of our payments are via check.
Yep.
And one thing I've noticed, especially since we started this business in 2021, mail's gotten slower, not faster.
Isn't that the truth? Even with the reduced volume, it's kind of crazy. And I just had an instance where they got lost in the mail. I haven't received anything that was sent 2 weeks ago. It's kind of interesting. So the velocity is there. It's kind of, what we do is we leverage the technology similar to NetSuite Pay and increase the velocity. And like you said, day sales outstanding compares to what you have for inventory. The more you reduce the day sales outstanding, it all goes down to the bottom line. Same with reduced inventory. It improves the bottom line by not tying up so much capital in the inventory, et cetera.
Absolutely. And it increases your cash flow. So, and in our business, cash is king. So we watch that every day, our AR. And, obviously once they get past their terms, like I said, most of ours are net 15 upon delivery. We have some great properties that they have a policy, they pay the same day that they're delivered. We love clients like that. By far, I would say we're probably batting 50% and collecting in 15 days. So obviously day 16, the notice goes out. It's automatically generated through NetSuite. As a growing business, when we were starting off, we struggled to pay our bills. We do have some customers that are on the smaller side. I understand sometimes things happen. So you have to have some empathy and sympathy. At the same time, they need to understand that you're running a business and providing a service. It's finding that happy medium of getting paid and keeping the relationship. And the relationship to me is always the most important part. If your client likes you, despite what the price is, and you're going above and beyond customer service and you're understanding that, they stay with you. The ones that are always going to chase a price, guess what? Someone can always cut your price. They'll keep doing it. They'll keep doing it till no one wants to work with them.
Let's get back to the AI a little bit. Are you planning to roll that out in the future, or what do you foresee in the next year with the AI?
So we are actually going to license it because I'll give you a perfect example. I'm not going to say the healthcare name, but it's one of the largest. And we went into their system because they want to really start moving towards more sustainable products. And I was kind of asking them about this and I told them about our AI inventory management, stuff like that. And it was interesting. They said they have an inventory management system, but it doesn't talk to their current distributor. So I get with our AI engineering, and what we're going to do is we're going to build our AI platform on their inventory management so it mirrors our inventory management. So we'll keep par levels consistent for all of them. And this is north of 50 hospitals. So it's a major undertaking. It's going to save them a fortune. And so they're really excited about it too. And that's where we kind of make the deal, which is, in our business, styrofoam is kind of the no-no in terms of sustainability, but it's also the least expensive product out there. Hospitals trying to be conscious of sustainability, want to move away from that. We become a cost-effective supplier of that. We're showing them some significant savings in other items, and then they can justify the increase in expense of moving to a compostable plate, for instance. But then have an inventory management system as an add-on to them is a no-brainer, right? It covers a lot of the cost.
So you are looking at licensing the technology, is that correct?
Yeah. So like once we release it, probably once we're done through the proof of concept and beta testing, we're going to roll it out to all of our clients that want to be part of the program. And then once we kind of build the history and the memory, and as AI continues to learn and as we get better at it, then we're going to go out and license it for existing clients. But also it's now that we can build it as a bolt-on. It's a license we can sell to people that were not even customers of ours.
Yeah. Is it pretty much at this time vertical specific to the hospitality, or are you looking to expand it beyond that?
The applications can expand beyond that in terms of manufacturing that you and I were talking about, just materials and stuff like that. So there are several different applications for it. For us, we're using it for restaurants. The predictive index will look at number of seats and what's been their historical turnover on tables. We've got a property here in Disney Springs is a perfect example. Third largest independent restaurant in North America. Had 800 covers on Easter brunch alone. The turnover on, and it was funny because we worked with them, the ordering for Easter Sunday, and it worked. It's not just on the inventory and the purchasing side, but we do restaurants. We'll check tables, actually the open tables. It'll feed data from that about which ones are getting booked and how often they're getting booked and what's the turnover on this type of thing. Some of it's depending on clients giving us information, but for sports arenas, we forecast the number of seats. Like I said, it tracks the incoming team, the incoming concert, and how they performed at previous shows in terms of attendance, right? So for bars, it could be simply just cups and when are the biggest times for cups. And it's usually, for major sporting events, but you'd be surprised how many people don't plan it that way. And so AI kind of takes that guessing out of the whole thing. But I do think it's applicable to several industries. Anybody that's doing ordering inventory that has to track material, time, labor, and cost, it's something that can be very effective.
Well, and the other thing that I see with your predictive analysis, it's the staffing piece that could be a major impact on the overhead for a business.
Well, think about retail in holiday season, right? We see the spike in temp labor. This is something that easily can track that, predict it, and they look at past history. They'll look at, honestly, you look at the economy, you look how much disposable income people are going to have, how many people are willing to go shopping, airline travel, right? How do you overbook an airline, right? They plan on doing that because they expect a certain amount of people aren't going to show up. But what happens when everyone shows up? Now you got to pay to get them to take another flight. Having something like this will stop it.
Yep. No, it's very, very impressive. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you to discuss this further?
The best way to get a hold of us, our website is www.rerouteamericas.com. If you want to send an email, the best is info@rerouteamericas.com. Again, that's info@rerouteamericas with an S.com. Feel free to reach out to me directly. Its email is patrick@rerouteamericas.com. My cell phone number, I give it to everybody, is 239-778-6095. I get back to everybody within 24 hours, so it's never an issue. I love speaking to people. So if there's an idea that you have, there's a question that you have, more than happy to spend some time with you. But this has been great, Paul.